confident they have reason to be. Between the regular season and the playoffs, they have faced the Chicago Bulls 8 times. Each team has won 4. Almost every game has been close. In fact, through those 8 games, Chicago has scored exactly 2 more points than the Pacers. Larry Bird, 3-time MVP, 3-time champion with the Celtics, first-year head coach, and the NBA's Coach of the Year. Chicago's starting lineup includes Ron Harper, who was not suspended, but rather fined $3,500 for his part in the fracas toward the end of Game 4. Kukoc has started 4 of the 5 games, as Hannah Storm pointed out, so he might have been the starter anyway, even if Phil Jackson is upset with Dennis Rodman for arriving even later than is his wont prior to Game 5. Who knows what Dennis is thinking? Let's find out what Ahmad Rashad is thinking.
All right, thanks, Bob. You heard Michael Jordan say earlier that he was nervous. It was a very serious Chicago Bull locker room, and the reason for that was Michael said in the playoffs, it's all about intensity and pressure, and they'll find out tonight whether this team can handle that. There was a bit of levity, though. Ron Harper was walking around with a cup that had $3,500 on it, which he was fined the other day saying, "Can you help a brother out?" At last count, it was empty. Let's go down to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Ahmad. Well, I spoke to Reggie Miller before the game about his ankle. He said it's very sore. He didn't practice at all yesterday. He took treatment for 2 hours today before the game. He said, "I really don't belong out there tonight. However, it's the playoffs, and I really have no other choice. If this were a regular season game, I would not be playing, but I've just got to go with what I got." As for Larry Bird, today he called and apologized to Jalen Rose, told him he was very sorry, that had he been paying attention, Bird, he never would have let Rose run out there on the court. Bob?
Jim, thank you. And take a look at that note. It has been almost 8 years since the Chicago Bulls, with Michael Jordan in the lineup, have lost 3 straight games.
Bob, what will the mindset be of Michael Jordan early? Will he look to have a dominant offensive first quarter?
It's Pippen who looks to go to the basket, and a whistle blows immediately. Chris Mullin took a shot on top of the head in that exchange. And it's drawn blood. So Mullin has to go out, at least for a while. He's got Reggie Miller hobbling, and he's without Jalen Rose.
Well, you see Scottie Pippen coming down, and as he extends, I think Rick Smith comes back, and he actually elbows Chris Mullin on top of the head the same way he did the other night.
So Smith's got Jordan in Game 4. He gets his teammate right here at the outset of Game 5. The man is dangerous.
Now, Bird told me at the start of the game that he liked having Derek McKee come off the bench right now instead of Jalen Rose because he likes McKee's experience, and he also believes that McKee is a better basketball player and defender in this situation.
Game 5 begins as Game 4 ended with Scottie Pippen missing a free throw. He is now 14 for 29, less than 50% in this series at the free throw line.
Well, it's the one consistent thing in basketball, Bob. It's 15 feet, and the basket is 10 feet high, but it's also the thing you feel the most pressure on because you're there by yourself, and it becomes a very mental thing.
1 of 2. Dale Davis. And a whistle from Bennett Salvatore away from the ball. Salvatore working with Bob Delaney and Steve Javie. Here's Jim Gray.
All right, Bob. Well, Chris Mullin is on the bench being attended to by the Indiana trainers. He has about an 1.5-inch gash on the top of his head. They're trying to stop the bleeding. When they stop the bleeding, he'll return. Bob?
After the foul on Scottie Pippen, the Pacers put it back in play. Dale Davis takes the high percentage shot, the dunk, off the feed from Mark Jackson. Pippen pulls up and fires a 3, and that's way off. But Chicago retains it. Miller is on Michael, who backs him down and hits off the glass.
Well, that was very easy that time. Reggie Miller was not able to hold his ground at all, and Michael really just dribbled him under the basket. No help at all.
It's difficult for him to hold his ground, Doug, because he doesn't have the strength in those legs and with that sore ankle.
Jackson to Smits on the drive, rejected by Kukoc. But eventually it falls home, plus a foul.
Michael with the isolation He surveys the floor, no help at all, and you see how easy, no resistance at all. Rick Smith slow getting over there, and Michael with the easy layup. You do not want to let Michael get those kind of shots early in the game. That opens up his jump shot.
And Doug, what I noticed when he was backing Reggie Miller down, that left ankle kept buckling on Reggie Miller.
Jackson can't complete the three-point play. The foul was on the foul-prone Luke Longley, his first. Pacers lead it 4-3. Michael into the lane, and he scoops it up and in for his second basket. At the other end, Jim Gray reports that it will require 3 stitches to close the wound on Chris Mullin's head.
When Michael Jordan is thinking offense in the first quarter, he always goes to the post.
Into the passing lane for the steal, but it happens just as an offensive foul is called on the Pacers, so the Bulls get it either way.
Michael once again on that low block, the up and under. He splits Rick Smith. 2 easy layups for Michael Jordan, then the moving pick on Rick Smith. And we see the big numbers of Michael Jordan after big losses.
Foul is on Miller, his first. Kukoc's pass is swatted out of bounds. Still Bulls ball. 10 on the 24.
I know Larry Bird doesn't like to double team, but with Michael Jordan in the post being guarded by Miller, he's going to have to come back and give him some help.
Out of bounds to Indiana. Miller into Jackson, who has to walk a tightrope along the sideline. Technical foul apparently has been called on Scottie Pippen, who was jawing at Bennett Salvatore.
That's pretty interesting because Scottie's not a guy who gets a lot of technical fouls. See the edginess in both of these teams right now, understanding the importance of this game. Whoever wins takes the series lead at 3-2.
Doug, this is a tough-minded Indiana team. You know, they remind me of the team of the 80s. You look at Scottie right here, and he's yakking at Bennett Salvatore, and Bennett said, I'm going to take control of this game early.
Miller failed to convert on the technical. With Mullin out, he's their best free throw shooter, but not that time. Longley trying to contend with Smits. And an illegal defense warning against Chicago, their first.
The point that I was going to make, Doug, about the Pacers is that they have an 80s mentality. When you look at Utah and the Indiana Pacers, both these teams are veteran teams that played in the 80s, and they're challenging Chicago right now emotionally as well as mentally.
Harper up on Reggie. Behind a screen, he fires and hits a 3 for Reggie Miller. Michael at the other end. You know he wants to answer. He spins, he fires, but doesn't have the answer this time. Harper clears it, gives them a new 24. And Michael will try again, and this time it's the result he wants.
He's gone to the same spot on the floor 3 times in a row and scored on all 3 possessions.
Well, Larry Bird told me before the game, he said, no, Michael is going to get his, but they want to concentrate on Scottie Pippen. They want to keep Scottie Pippen around to about 14 points and not let him get about 20.
McKee is doubled, and he finds Jackson for 3. Mark Jackson gives the Pacers a 10-7 lead.
So the importance of that is that Scottie Pippen is always the help man defensively for the Chicago Bulls. If Mark Jackson can hit that, then on the closeouts, he'll be able to get dribble penetration.
Kukoc ties it. Kukoc, who hit so many important baskets in Game 4. It wasn't his fault that the Bulls lost the game. Smits returns it to Jackson. Then screens for it. Gets it back and misses the 20-footer long. Pippen into the lane. Left hands it home. Jackson spinning, shooting the floater. Front rim, and it comes off to Scottie Pippen. Harper. Now Longley with the hook. It won't stay down for him. Loose ball. Longley dives for it and retains possession. Jordan for three. Kukoc wins the race to the loose ball, but can't hit the reverse. 3 tries, and the Bulls come up empty.
Now, games 1 and 2, the Bulls came up with all the loose balls at home. We see that same trend here tonight.
McKee from Smits. Short. Rebound Jordan. Accelerated by McKee. And there's a whistle. The foul is on McKee. It's his first. It stops the clock with 6:46 to go in the first quarter.
Michael Jordan on that low block once again. He has 3 for 3 from that position tonight. And then Scottie Pippen in transition. Derek McKee tries to stay with him, but you see Rick Smith screens his own man, and Scottie with the left-hand layup.
Giving him the same look twice, and you see all the shots that he's taken thus far have come in the paint.
Yeah, Isaiah, what happens is when you score in the paint, it opens up the perimeter. And in the 9 wins and the 3 losses, you see Michael's been into the paint on an average of 6 baskets on 10 attempts. So tonight he's established in there, and then he'll step out and the jump shot will come to him much freer.
You know, right now, I think the pressure's on Chicago in Game 5. Anytime you come home in a Game 5 situation, the pressure's on you to win at home.
Pippen gets his own rebound. Michael wants a 3. Michael has a 3.
Bob, that's what I'm talking about. You let a guy, a scorer, get off with easy layups, and his game just expands. 5 offensive rebounds already in the first quarter for the Pacers.
Harper broke it up. Pacer ball from the side. They trail it now, 15-10. And a whistle from Bennett Salvatore away from the ball. An offensive foul on the Pacers, so they give it right back.
That should be 5 offensive rebounds for the Bulls, not the Pacers. It's against the Pacers, but Michael Jordan steps right into the shot. Great rhythm. 2 offensive fouls already in the first quarter against Indiana.
Pippen to the glass. And it's 17-10. Scottie has 5. Miller, a little bit of room. Usually that's all he needs. That time he overshot it. Jordan skies for the rebound. Kukoc drives on Davis. Pippen into the lane and hits the floater.
See, what's happening here right now, Doug, is Chicago's superior speed is taking control of this game. Indiana has got to slow this game down and go inside to Smith. They can't afford to shoot long jump shots right now.
Smith is having a very difficult time. Longley's doing a great job. Look where he's posted here. Got him way off the block.
Jackson trying to end the Chicago run, but can't. Longley chases it down. Here comes Chicago on a 12-0 streak. They were trailing 10-7. They lead now 19-10. Michael dumps it off for Longley. And the Pacers come away with it. Miller to Smits for the jumper. Somebody got a piece of it. And Chicago comes away with the ball.
See, I thought McKee should have took that layup. They're so conscious of Reggie Miller and getting him the ball. But McKee passed up a wide-open layup. He should have took that shot.
Kukoc, short. Rebound to McKee.
Now the pace of this game, can Chicago keep this up even at home for 48 minutes? In the second half in Indiana, they started to falter a little bit.
Smits. Longley made him work for it. Smits now has missed his first 4 field goal attempts. Look at the battle for the loose ball. It's going to go to Chicago as they call a timeout. They ask for a 20, and they'll have possession after it.
See, this is a game game of speed for Chicago right now. Now you watch this coming in full speed. Watch his Pippen just blow off the screen because he doesn't want to take the hit. When you're playing against a strong physical team such as Indiana, you want to use your speed and your quickness to make them move, because once they put a body on you, Doug, then they slow you down. And you look at Pippen's numbers throughout the course of this series, and as Larry Bird said, if they can hold him under 14 points, then they feel that Chicago can't score enough to beat him.
So far, it appears as if Luke Longley, with some help from his teammates on occasion, has denied Rick Smits the spots he wants and the kind of comfort in shooting that he wants.
No question, Bob. That's why he's so vital. He cannot get in foul trouble. And with Rick Smits, when he is not scoring, he's a liability defensively because he's slow of foot and he doesn't get into the rotation. That's why the Bulls are getting to the basket here early in the first quarter.
Michael. Another jumper. Not this time. Rebound to Jackson. Behind the back from Miller. And there's a whistle with Antonio Davis at the scorer's table for the Pacers and Dennis Rodman preparing to check in for Chicago. The foul is on Ron Harper.
Tony Davis more mobile. You're going to see that Phil Jackson's going to counter immediately with Rodman because he wants those two guys matched up.
Rodman didn't show up at the United Center until 7:05. That's local time, little more than an hour before the scheduled tip-off. Miller, catch and shoot. Missed it. Kukoc in the lane. Makes it 21-10. Chicago, 14 unanswered points for the Bulls. The Pacers, meanwhile, have missed their last 8 shots. McKee fouled as he makes his move.
The Bulls are passing the ball very crisply. The off-the-ball movement there by Tony Kukoc, little sweeping left-hand hook. And when you look at the Pacers front line now, McKee and the two Davis boys, they have a very big team out there right now. Tony Kukoc has played exceptionally well since Game 1. In fact, he had some very big shots at Game 4 that looked like was going to get the win for his team.
That free throw by McKee was the Pacers' first point in 5.5 minutes. And he makes them both. Scottie Pippen working against Antonio Davis. Now Reggie Miller takes him on a switch. 5 on the 24. Kukoc on the run. And he gets the bounce and roll.
See what Indiana is thinking this first quarter. They just want to weather the storm. They knew they were going to be down 10 in the first quarter because of the emotional push. But can they come back after this and get the lead and start playing well again?
Antonio Davis can't hit it. Rebound to Kukoc. It's a major storm the Pacers are trying to weather. Down 23-12. And the block on the Pippen drive. Michael was fouled, which stops the clock with 1:58 to play in the first. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
Look, they make olive oil. Take a picture here.
All right.
Buongiorno.
Oh, hi. How are you? Is this your business?
Yes.
Oh, we have our own business, too.
Yes, we have 3 stores in Ohio.
Ohio. We service Ohio. And California, and Canada, and Argentina, and Australia, and America.
They're on the internet. How can they afford it?
Hi, I'm Grant Hill, professional basketball player for the Detroit Pistons. You know, when I get thirsty, I reach for Sprite. You see, Sprite refreshes me like nothing else because it's the only drink with that cool, crisp, refreshing refreshing taste that satisfies even my manliest thirst. Yep, that's Sprite for you.
Drink Sprite because you like it, not because an athlete says he does.
This is for Reverend O'Brien, who always told me to give it my best shot. For my grandmother, who showed me what real courage is. And for myself, who found it.
You never know when it's going to happen, but when it does, you'll never forget it.
Excuse me, sir? Do you know how to get to the freeway from here?
The first time someone calls you sir. At a moment like this, head to your Mitsubishi retailer and get a sporty new 98 Eclipse. Right now with just 0.9% APR financing for 48 months. Hurry, you don't have much time. Is your life built for Mitsubishi?
Dateline Friday, wildfires. Firefighters risk their lives to put out these deadly blazes, but should they let them burn instead? Dateline 8/7 Central, NBC Friday.
Welcome back to Chicago. I'm Jim Gray. Larry Bird during that timeout told the Pacers, guys, you're bigger, you're stronger, be much more aggressive. You're giving up too many easy shots. Somebody stand up and do something here. Take a hard foul, get back on your game and play some defense. You guys are just letting them in with too many easy baskets. Somebody has to step up. Bob?
Jim, thanks a lot. Just prior to the commercial, Dale Davis had blocked Scottie Pippen's shot. Then Antonio Davis fouled Michael Jordan. Chris Mullin checks back in for the Pacers. Here's the upside to the Pacers having shaved their heads as an act of solidarity prior to the playoffs. It gave the medics easy access to the injury. We're told it required 3 stitches. Michael hits the first. We mentioned that Dennis Rodman arrived a little more than an hour before game time. What's usual? Not for him, but for the average player.
Bob, my rule is always 90 minutes in the locker room, prior to the tip. Now, I'm not sure what Phil Jackson did, but I always felt an hour and a half to get your guys in there, start getting them ready for the game. Rodman has already told us that he doesn't like to get there early, that he gets bored. He wants to get right to the game and get out and play.
Yeah, Rodman has so much energy, Doug, that it's hard for him to just sit around. So what he likes to do is get there about a half an hour before the game and warm up.
In the list of Rodman transgressions, that's relatively minor. Let's go to Ahmad, who has more.
You know what, Bob? I watched Dennis Rodman come into practice the other day, 2 minutes before practice started, and I asked Michael about that. He said Rodman does that all the time. And Phil Jackson, being the kind of coach that he is, treats everybody differently. So him arriving here late tonight was really no big deal as long as he's prepared to play. Bob?
Ahmad, thanks. The foul on Michael was his second. It sends Chris Mullin, the league's leading free throw shooter, 94% for the season, to the line.
Now, what we've seen already tonight is a different substitution pattern by Phil Jackson. The moment Travis Best came in, he comes with Randy Brown. Probably thinking defense, control his speed and quickness, because Best has been a problem in the last 2 games. Scott Burrell checked in for Michael Jordan, who did pick up his second, so he'll get a rest with his team leading by 12.
As I remember it, Phil Jackson didn't use Randy Brown even for a minute in Game 4.
He actually, his first substitution was big. He brought in Burrell and tried to stay big on the perimeter. I think he needs the speed and quickness of Randy Brown. Steve Kerr has had trouble containing him.
Mullin, as expected, makes them both. Kukoc. The rebound to Antonio Davis.
So you have a Chicago team out on the floor without Pippen and without Jordan. Kukoc is the main scorer, so Indiana should be able to take advantage of this lineup.
Reggie Miller. Harper gets up on him. And Rodman fouls Antonio Davis as Davis receives the pass. And folks, you can log on to MSNBCSports.com for Showtime's online inside story on the NBA playoffs. Click on video features and commentary, plus check out Bill Walton's team-by-team preview of next month's NBA draft. It's all at MSNBCSports.com. First one rattles in and out for Antonio Davis, and here's Ahmad.
All right, Bob, if you notice that Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan are both on the bench, only 58 seconds of the entire series has this situation ever taken place. So this is kind of odd, Bob.
I think with the Pacers being down by 10, Ahmad, I think that Phil says if he's going to buy some time, buy it now in case in the second half he can't do that.
Burrell had some room, but his shot goes in and out. Scott Burrell has not contributed offensively of late in the playoffs. This is Fred Hoiberg. First time in a long time that we've seen the third-year man from Iowa State. His pass was scooped up by Mullen, who can't hit the layup. Now it's stolen by Randy Brown. Harper in the lane, bumps off Hoiberg, and they wave it off. There's a foul before the shot was released.
You see Hoiberg come into the game right now, and he's very nervous. This is the first time he's ever been in a playoff situation. The first pass that he threw, he was so nervous, almost got intercepted. Then he come back down, and he creates the foul. Right now, you got a nervous young man right there. Bird has a lot of faith and a lot of trust in him, putting him in this game in this time.
His hand forced to a certain extent by the absence of Jalen Rose.
I think you can also see that the Pacer bench has been much more effective at home, and that's to be really expected. Normally your reserves play much better at home, and your starters are the ones that carry you on the road. Now, I really believe that tonight Chris Mullin has got to give them something, because without Jalen Rose, Mullin has got to make some shots for them. He's 3 for 14 in the last 2 games and has really struggled with the speed and quickness of the perimeter of Chicago.
Antonio Davis to the basket, and he was fouled.
And that's 2 quick fouls Dennis Rodman has picked up. One of the problems when Dennis Rodman comes into the game, that he has a tendency to get in early foul trouble because he's not starting. And you see Antonio Davis put it on the floor and take it right to him, knowing that he has 1 foul and wants to pick up that second one.
And you know, as good a player defensively as Dennis Rodman is, he does not like to come out on the floor and guard. So Tony Davis, what did he do? He drove the ball right to him. He attacked him, got him retreating, jumped into him, and got the contact. That's what you teach your players to do.
This happened to have been an active shooting foul, on which Davis makes 1 of 2. Harper was fouled a moment ago before the shot, but both teams are over the limit, which is why he took the 2 free throws. Harper to Rodman, who blows the layup. The Pacers have missed their last 10 field goal attempts, and they're 4 of 15 in the quarter, which now has 10 seconds left in it. Travis Best can't put an end to that streak. The Bulls have time. Brown to Burrell, who was fouled from behind by Mullen.
And it's going to be a flagrant. Bennett Salvatore has called a flagrant foul. So Burrell will get 2 free throws, and the Bulls will get the ball with 1.9 seconds. I guess the ruling there is that he hit him hard in the head and really did not get a play on the ball. It's a pretty tough call right now at the stage of the game, and you're going to see what Phil Jackson's going to do. He's going to bring his offensive players back in. This could be a 4 or 5 point swing here in the last 1.9 seconds.
Now what Chris Mullin would tell you is that I was going for the ball, but I couldn't jump that high. And as I went to extend, I really couldn't get up high enough to get it.
That was as unflagrant as a flagrant can be.
Yes, it was. I think what happens is the referees err on the side of caution in these games, especially when you come off a game where there was a melee.
2 seconds. Michael gets it off. And the first quarter ends with the Bulls in front by 13. Miller hit an early 3. That was it for him in the first quarter. Well, when that happens, it goes a long way toward explaining why you trail 29-16 after 1.
See, I think Larry Bird expected to be in this situation in the first quarter. You know, 10-13 down in the game 5 of the first quarter is not uncommon. Now, can you make up for that? How can you come back? And that's when he'll rely on his bench.
Well, you can see one of the things that the Pacers have done all series long is shoot the ball exceptionally well. Only 25% in that first quarter.
Here's Mark Pope, rookie from Kentucky, off to Hoiberg. And Hoiberg's shot spins out. Antonio Davis tries to make a move, and he's fouled. That would have helped Hoiberg if that could have stayed down, boosted his confidence a little bit.
Bob, this is an interesting lineup that Larry Bird has on the floor. You talk about having confidence in your bench. Mark Pope and Fred Hoiberg, guys who have played very little in the entire playoffs. Mullen, Best, and Tony Davis. Who is going to score?
Hoiberg will try, but there's a whistle before he gets the shot away. Offensive foul gives it back to Chicago. It's on Pope, his first.
Now, this is the third moving screen that we have seen early in the game. Remember now, Phil Jackson complained about the moving pick on Rodman at the end of the game. He's got 3 calls tonight.
Hoiberg now has to contend with Jordan. Which, as you see, is not a pleasant task.
See, that's not fair. You got to come help Hoiberg right there. You can't let him stay down in the post trying to guard Michael Jordan, the greatest player of all time.
Travis Best with a nice move, but can't finish it. And the lid remains on the basket for Indiana. Jordan, foul before the shot.
And you see Michael realizing early, I got to fish. And anytime he sees Hoiberg, okay, I'm going to bag him down. I'm going to take my time. What? Nobody's coming to double team me? I'm by myself? Y'all going to leave him? Okay, take this bucket.
Well, how about this? There's 10 guys on the floor right now, and Michael Jordan is the only guy who has a field goal. The other 9, I would make somebody else score a basket other than Michael Jordan.
The foul on Hoiberg was his second. That somebody else is Bill Wennington. The Chicago Bulls have now more than doubled the Pacers. It's 33-16. Antonio Davis. Indiana has now missed 14 consecutive shots. Jordan around the Rodman screen for Wennington, who can't hit it. Hoiberg nearly threw it away. Best goes back to recover it. Break Burrell down, splits 2 defenders but misses. Rodman tumbles out of bounds, but first gets rid of it to Kerr. Pulls up and then leans into Mullen, trying to draw the foul, and did it successfully. Nothing going right for the Pacers. There was a sense of real concern at the United Center prior to this game. Those concerns on the part of Bull fans have been allayed somewhat as Phil Jackson's team has jumped all over Larry Bird's club to the tune of 33-16 with 9:43 to play in the second. The Pacer bench, one of the biggest strengths of their team, is 0 for 7 today. And they have missed as a team their last 15 shots. They don't have a field goal in the last 11 minutes.
Well, you see Steve Kerr hit the line. He was able to bait Chris Mullen into a foul on a fake of a long 2. But the Pacers right now have to score. I mean, it's 16 points. You know, Larry Bird tried to buy some minutes there to get Smith a little bit of a rest and Reggie Miller. But this is the time of the game right now. You don't want the Bulls to push out to a 25-point lead. You'll never catch up because you don't have that kind of firepower.
Kerr swishes them both. 19-point Chicago lead. Reggie Miller back in. Burrell draws the defensive assignment on him. Here's Travis Best trying to go to the hole and fouled on his way. NBC's Must-See Thursday begins with Friends, followed by Just Shoot Me, Seinfeld, Veronica's Closet, and ER. That's Must-See TV tomorrow on NBC. They still have the Seinfeld repeats in the vault, and they plan to use them.
Now, Reggie Miller is wearing some type of ankle wrap or ankle guard on his ankle right now, and that wrap has become unraveled. I hope he doesn't trip on it or he recognizes it and try to, you know, button it back up before he, like, trips on it.
Michael against Reggie. Triple teamed in the lane. Gets it out to Burrell, who misses what would have been a two-point field goal. Is this on Rodman? If it is, that's 3.
Bob, I think he ruled that he stepped on the line. So I don't think there's a foul on Rodman. I think he was out of bounds on the play. So
you're right.
Pacers will get the ball.
Luckily for Chicago. So Rodman has 2 fouls. Much quicker than he is. Smits still without a field goal.
The Pacers must think right now about trying to get this to 9 or 10 at halftime. They have 8:38 maybe to chop the 9 or 10 point lead.
Longley had it knocked away, and Antonio Davis takes it. Best explodes to the hoop. Burrell thought he blocked it cleanly, but there's a foul instead.
So vital for the Chicago Bulls for Luke Longley to stay in the game. Look how he pushes him off that block. And then what will happen is Steve Kerr will dig back in there, force him to pick up his dribble. He has no place to go, so he shoots a fading jump shot. That's what the Bulls will live with. You see Kerr faking the double team. And Smith has got to have that patience that he had in Game 4 when he played so well, especially in that third quarter.
Doug, the Bulls' half-court defense is so good right now that the only way the Pacers are going to get back in this game is to score in transition, as Travis Best did right there. Take it to the basket, try to get some easy opportunities because they blocked your half-court sets down.
Indiana has shot around 50% through the first 4 games, 19% in the first half of this one. Hold on. An Indiana foul. It's Smits, his second.
Now, the reason Rick Smits picked up that foul is because Reggie Miller got caught up on the screen, and he was waiting for Reggie Miller to come. He was saying, come on, come on, come on. Watch him look back to Miller. Where are you at? Come on, come on. Referee caught him with the arm extended.
Burrell on the drive. It bounces to Kerr, who knows what to do with it.
Loose ball. Chicago is so aggressive tonight. All 5 of the Pacers must be back in the paint. Rebounding has not been a factor, or not the key factor. Turnovers have, but tonight it's the rebounding.
Travis Best can't connect on the 3. Extending back to the first period, the Pacers have now gone more than the equivalent of a full quarter, more than 12 minutes without a field goal. Michael Jordan. He has 15. Chicago by 20. And play is stopped.
Michael Jordan is going to always find an opening. You see him give the basketball up, always cutting, always moving, sets a little bump screen there, does not stand, presents himself to an open area for Scott Burrell, and once again, another layup for Michael Jordan.
And that last foul was on Rodman, his 3rd, and now he is hit with a technical foul before Phil Jackson can get him out of the game. Dickie Simpkins coming in. Now, here's Michael saying to Dennis, look, don't give these guys a chance to reverse this momentum. Dennis often complains that, as he puts it, he has a bullseye on his back. On the other hand, he is almost by acclamation, when you talk to the other players, the dirtiest player in the league. Mostly that's effective for him, but a lot of it involves illegal play, and a lot of it happens off the ball. So why shouldn't the officials watch him more closely than they do other players? Smits missing again. He's now 0 for 6. Michael made a move, then didn't know what to do with it.
pick up his technical from Bob Delaney, complaining about the call. So 3 personal fouls and a technical. It has not been a good first half for Dennis Rodman. It's been a great one for the Chicago Bulls. They lead by 19. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
Every player has a weakness. Tonight, Mr. Grant Hill's weakness takes center court.
There's no more free points. Make them earn them. Stay away from the officials. Just play.
Especially when you're up by 19. And Michael can't make it 21. There's a whistle for a foul on the rebound. And it's going to go on Derek McKee, his second.
I don't know if it's just me, guys, but I have not seen that emotional game that I thought we might get out of the Pacers. They've been very flat tonight. Now, obviously, the Bulls jumped on them and diffused them early. I don't see that look. You know, they're going to have to win a game in the United Center if they're going to win this series. They need to take 2 shots at it, not just 1.
Steve Kerr, way off, an uncharacteristic miss for him.
Doug, I think they came out waiting to absorb the blow, and the blow came so hard and furious from the Chicago Bulls that they've yet to respond to it.
Smits forces one up and finally hits it. His first field goal of the night, and the Pacers' first field goal in unbelievably 14 minutes. Michael gets rid of it to Scotty, who banks it home.
The Chicago Bulls offense, Bob, has been get Michael Jordan in that low block, and if they help a little bit, find the open man, or Michael's been punishing them from the start.
A lot of pushing and shoving happening off the ball, and it looks like Longley for his second. If he gets in foul trouble, it's a small ray of hope for the Pacers, because Wennington is less successful keeping Smits out of his shooting spots.
But that's the weakness in the Chicago Bulls bench. Once you get past Longley, they really don't have any size and they don't have any depth at the center position. At the guard and the forward core, there's a lot of depth there, but once you get past Longley in the middle, they're very light.
Smits makes them both. The Pacers trail by 17. Reggie's on Michael. Nicky Simpkins finds Pippen. Scotty chases it down.
Another loose ball. Belongs to the Chicago Bulls tonight.
Jordan from Pippen. Sweet as you please. Reggie Miller. It comes up short for him, and Jordan is inside of Smits for the rebound. Kerr. Now Longley. Michael finds Longley into the hoop.
Chicago right now is executing to perfection. You know, you see Jordan's mentality right now. They're running every screen hard. Now you watch Pippen right there as he throws it out to Jordan. Jordan will square up, stare McKee down, and shoot it right through the bottom of the net. You watch him as he's backing up. I feel it.
That last play, though, was a great play by Michael and Longley. It was eye contact. The big man jumped out as if it looked like Michael was going to use the screen. and Luke just slipped it and went right to the basket. And once again, the slow rotating defense by Indiana. The Bulls have more points in the paint in this half than they had in 2 complete games in Indianapolis.
They're out of the 5 games, just the crispest I've seen Chicago run their offense.
Derek McKee, 5 on the 24. McKee shot blocked by Longley into the hands of Pippen. Here they come. Harper all the way to the hoop. Got it! Plus a foul. They are running the Pacers out of the building and back to Indianapolis to try to regroup for Game 6.
Now the problem is not how do you stop the Bulls from scoring, but how do you score against the Bulls? You see Luke Longley block it, and they pass it up to Harper as he extends the left arm to stop Mark Jackson from elevating. As Mark Jackson went up, Harper extended that left arm so he can get an extra boost off him.
A second consecutive three-point play, and they have more than doubled the Pacers at 49-24. Jordan to the bench for a rest. Smith to the hoop from Miller. Simpkins trying to follow. Jump ball. Dickie Simpkins was released back in February by Golden State. He finds himself in the conference finals back with his old team, Chicago. That's not a bad deal.
Derek McKee going out. We know that he has a very sore quadriceps muscle. They are now down 23 points. It'll be interesting to see if they don't make a dent. Maybe Derek McKee might be taking the rest of the night off. We'll have to watch that substitution.
And you can see just how dominant Chicago's defense has been in this game.
Smits. Pippen has the rebound. Harper racing back. Behind him to Scotty. A leaner. No good. We move inside 3 minutes. Hope to Jackson, and now Reggie out of the corner hits the 3.
Isaiah, with Chicago playing so well tonight and scoring so easily, the Pacers haven't got the stops to be able to run, so everything is half court for them tonight.
Longley. Antonio Davis has it, but the Pacers trail by 20. Davis's line drive jumper comes up short. Kukoc in the corner with 8 on the 24. His pass picked off by Jackson into the hands of Pope. Jackson to the trailer. Miller blocked away by Longley, who was the only guy back.
So you see on that play, Jackson didn't really have the speed to go by Longley. That's why he flipped it back, and Longley made the block.
Send it back to Bob Costas.
Hannah, thanks very much. So your old coach, Chuck Daly, pays a visit to the Showtime set. Zeke?
Daddy Rich is in the house, and he knows a lot about winning championships. I learned a lot from Chuck Daly, and I just want to say thanks, Chuck, for imparting all your wisdom on me.
As you look at the leading scorers, Reggie Miller has a pair of threes, and that's it in this first half. On the inbound, it's Dale Davis, fouled. It looked like Pippen, and it is his second. Well, Game 6 will be Friday night at Market Square Arena, just like this one, 9 Eastern, 8 Central Time. It looks like the Pacers will have to win on their home floor to force a 7th game. But here's the good news for them. They have not lost at home through the entire playoffs. This is a team that won 58 regular season games. One of them was here. One of the 2 regular season games they played against the Bulls at the United Center was a road victory for the Pacers. They know they can do it, at least in theory, if they get it back here for a 7th game. A whistle before Scottie Pippen released the shot.
One of the things we've seen tonight, the Bulls have run their outside series. They love to throw ahead Pippen to Kukoc, and Scottie used that speed and turned the corner. Isaiah, he's gotten to the basket 3 or 4 times here tonight off that little give and go from the sideline.
That's the adjustment that Tex Winters made in the offense. The guard around, and then you bring the guy into the post. You know, Tex is beautiful and smart at figuring out how do you counteract Dick Harder's defense. You know, Tex invented the triangle, and they're running it to perfection right now.
Tex Winter and Dick Harder, between them nearly 100 years of coaching experience. Winter is a youthful-looking 76. Harder is 66, 2 of the great assistants in the business. And an Indiana offensive foul. You make a list of the things that can go wrong in a half. Just about all of them have happened for Indiana, or to Indiana.
Again, gamesmanship. Phil Jackson complained, if you're going to call the foul on Rodman, Rick Smith's moves on every screen he sets. That's 2 they've called on him tonight now.
You know, that Larry Bird, Phil Jackson, they complain about the officials. They whine. It's childish. However, you know what? It's effective, Doug.
Well, it was Bird complaining after the first 2 games here. And even though Chicago, on average, has shot 8 more free throws per game through the first 4 games, you could make an argument that Bird's complaints had a positive effect for his team. Phil Jackson took a $10,000 fine for his remarks after the games in Indianapolis. I think it's less what the officials are doing and more the way Chicago is playing in this first half, but you could argue that it didn't hurt, and he can afford the 10 grand.
Scottie Pippen, once again, he had Mark Pope on him. They went right back to the same play. Mark just does not have the speed to contain Scottie. He throws that ball ahead and turns that corner. 2 times in a row now they've run the same play with both the same results.
1 of 2 for Pippen, who has a dozen, and who now deflects the ball out of bounds.
You know, Bob, to follow up on the point that you made earlier about Indiana trying to get to Game 6, you know, Chicago can knock the confidence out of Indiana right now and go back to Indiana and win if Indiana doesn't get their act together.
5 seconds to get it across the line, and Jackson does. Now he lobs one toward the hoop, and it works to Antonio Davis.
They're going to run that same play again with Scottie to the outside, this time off a screen roll and a give and go.
It's a beauty. Lost the foul. Antonio Davis picks up his 3rd.
Here's Scottie Pippen now. You're going to watch guard to the outside. He hits, and then the give and go. Scottie using his speed and quickness so the Pacers cannot put their body on him tonight. Speed is winning.
15 for Pippen. Jordan's on the bench with 17. And Scottie, all over the place, nearly steals the inbound. Michael has now come off the bench, and we go to Jim Gray.
All right, Bob, before the game, Larry Bird said something very interesting. He says, I don't know deep down in their hearts, referring to his team, the Pacers, if they know they can do it, if they feel they can. If they're just satisfied with beating Chicago 2 times, they'll never win a championship. What I'm trying to tell them is listen to what I say and do, and we can win this thing. Or maybe they're just satisfied, Bob.
Indiana turns it over. Pippen and Jordan between them have equaled the Pacers' 32 points. Jordan with 17, Pippen with 15. Chicago with a 55-32 lead.
And that's the number that Larry Bird feared, that 15 points by Scottie Pippen, and he has it in the first half.
Now 17. He equals Michael. Miller up top for Dale Davis, who can't convert it. Here comes Michael, tongue wagging, pull up, in and out. Game clock overlaps the shot clock by about 4 seconds. Jackson deals it out to Davis, and now Antonio Davis. Can't hit it. 4 seconds to get off the final shot of the half. It'll be Michael. He did not beat the buzzer. They waved the basket off. Missed it by a split second. Says to Pippen, that's okay. We each scored 17. We alone have more. Realistically, barring an incredible burst right out of the blocks here in the third quarter, the Pacers are playing the second half just to establish something for Game 6. Dale Davis's shot rattles in and out.
Well, if you're the Pacers, that's the way you have to approach it, because the series is an extension of Game 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and you got to go back to Indiana with some type of confidence and belief in your system.
Ron Harper around Mullen to the basket, count it, plus the foul.
When Larry Bird goes back and reviews his film, he and Dick Carter and his staff, the one thing they're going to be upset, the layups. The Bulls have gotten to the basket. They have finished. They've been touch fouls tonight, not the kind of hard fouls where you force a guy to start looking around when he goes to the basket, make him pick himself up and shoot some free throws.
The lead stays at 27 as Harper misses the free throw. Jackson spinning on Pippen. Hold on. Foul before the shot. It'll be Pippen, and that's 3. Much of the energy has gone out of the building. They were roaring at the start of the game. The Bulls put on a first-half clinic. And now folks are just kind of settling in and maybe deciding how they might beat the traffic.
It's a big shot right here. Chris Mullen wide open. He's 3 for his last 15. They need him to make some shots. Even if you don't win this game, he's got to establish some confidence.
He swishes that one. Here's Rodman. Smits reaches in and pokes it away. And Dennis apparently touched it last.
But Doug, I can tell you that crazy things happen in the playoffs. I remember when we were playing the Boston Celtics at the old Silverdome, we missed 23 consecutive shots in a row. So things can happen, and this thing can turn around for Indiana.
Mullen. His pass deflected out. Still Indiana ball.
But Michael Jordan wasn't on my team.
I know you didn't miss any of those 23, Isaiah. Those were all Lambeer and Joe.
Goaltending on Pippen. So Miller gets the basket.
You see Miller cut down the lane off the offensive play, and you see Scottie Pippen goes up and just kind of taps it on the glass. You can't take the ball to the glass like that.
Pippen doubled in the corner. His pass picked off by Jackson. Foot race to the hoop with Harper. Leaves it for the trailer Miller. And Reggie now is in double figures with 10.
See, that's the second time that Mark Jackson has made that play. The first time he made it, it wasn't successful. This time he made it, it was successful.
Well, now an offensive foul on Pippen. That's his 4th. The Pacers have the ball and they're down 20. It was 25 at the half and 27 after the first basket of this period.
Bob, not to hype anything, and Scottie Pippen picks up this 4th foul when he lowers his shoulder, but one of the things this Chicago Bulls team has done all season long is lose leads. It's like they've lost some of their concentration. They've allowed teams back in games. I'm not saying that will happen tonight, but that has been trademark of this team this season.
Jackson trying to back down the much taller Kukoc and traveling in the process.
If you're the Indiana Pacers right now, your thought process is down 20. Let's see if we can cut this thing to 10 with 5 minutes to go in this quarter.
Harper from Michael can't finish it. Indiana's on a 7-0 run. Mullen evades Jordan, but can't hit the 3. Kukoc from Rodman. And Indiana comes back, still down by 20. Challenging Michael. Longley has it. Kukoc to Harper.
It's just so hard for Chris Mullin to deal with this quickness of Michael Jordan. He makes a move, it looks like he starts to finish, and Michael gets back into the play and bumps him off of it. This has really been a tough, tough series for him.
Jackson into the lane, throws up the hook on the run, and Dale Davis is there to clean things up. Harper trying to bounce it to Longley. Smith broke it up. Harper recovers it. 7 on the shot clock. It's Kukoc with a leaner.
That's that little European half step that he has. He gets in there and he makes that little floating shot. Tony Kukoc really makes that play very well. There's the offensive foul on Dale Davis.
Man, he hammered Kukoc, who was clutching his left shoulder.
Larry Bird very upset. He felt Tony Kukoc had walked on the play before.
I think they've called a flagrant on Dale Davis. He definitely delivered a shot. Chicago uses a timeout. They lead by 22.
Go to the playoffs, NBA.com.
Let me tell you a story about the trucks that never sleep.
Got an early one, huh?
Better fill it up. It's the tough new line of Ford F-Series, with over 50 different models to custom fit the job. That's more than anyone else. And they all come with power you can count on. They're like some trusty sidekick in an old Western, except this movie never ends.
See you tomorrow.
You can count on it. The Ford F-Series, the most powerful, most complete line of trucks ever built Ford top.
On June 12th.
Are these really necessary? Only if we crash.
Harrison Ford.
Mayday, mayday.
Hits the beach.
What are we, like shipwrecked?
But this trip to paradise.
We got company.
Is no vacation.
I just want one thing to go right.
From director Ivan Reitman comes the ultimate summer escape.
1, 2.
I can't!
6 days, 7 nights. Rated PG-13. Escape June 12th.
I'll tell you when. I'm going to tell you when.
Miller Genuine Draft presents even more basketball.
Now, Scottie Pippen has bounced back after missing those 2 free throws. You see him driving, attacking the basket, using his speed to counteract what the Pacers are trying to do in terms of putting a body on him. You see he accepts the challenge, accepts the blow right there. Then he blows by him again on the right side to hit the pull-up J. Now, when you look at Scottie's shot chart, you'll see everything going to the basket, and you'll see him really attacking this right side of the court. Larry Bird told us that he wanted to keep him under 14. Not tonight.
And in recognition of this look inside the game, Miller Brewing Company will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. Kukoc is at the line. A moment ago, he pantomimed a shot and pulled his arm back down as if in pain, and he winced a little bit as he released that one, too. Here's Ahmad.
All right, Bob, I just spoke with Chip Schaefer, the Bulls trainer. He told me that Tony just suffered a bruise to his left shoulder, but obviously he's able to keep playing. Bob?
And able to hit both free throws, which increases the lead to 24. Michael with Reggie hand-checking him. Backs him down, leans in, and Dale Davis got a piece of it. Some of the fans courtside thought it should have been goaltended. Here's Chris Mullin against Kukoc, who gives him a little room, and Mullin converts.
Now, Mullen can score against Tony Kukoc because he'll be able to create a little distance, and he's that master of the little up and under move. You saw 2 pump fakes before he finally delivered the shot.
8 for Mullen. Harper, pull-up jumper, spins out. Rodman, Kukoc, then Longley. Reggie Miller on the run. The tip by Davis is disallowed as he commits the foul over the back, which is his 3rd.
The Pacers were trying to run a set play, and Mark Jackson was pushed so far out on the floor that even when Reggie Miller came off the screen, if he was open, they couldn't get him the ball because there was so much distance with the passing lane. The Bulls are doing a great job of keeping them passing lanes really far tonight.
Longley, left hands it in.
You know, Doug, Mark Jackson made the Cardinals sin when he picked up his dribble. As a point guard, you can't pick up your dribble in the middle of the floor. You see him right here maintaining his dribble. Therefore, he can make a play.
Jackson driving on Kukoc. Mark Jackson can't hit, but Davis, who's stuck with it, can. Rodman from Harper. Dennis's first basket. Bulls led by 25 at the half, 26 now.
You know, Dale Davis just picked up an offensive foul right there, and he's hitting everybody who gets in his way. You see him moving on the screen right here. He's just trying to lay some wood. Put his elbow right there on Jordan, and then he's going to move and get him again. The time before that down court, he ran into Ron Harper, and you see him right here. He's picking up another foul.
It's going to be a technical
foul on him. Well, right now, he's lost his composure.
You saw him with the flagrant foul on Kukoc where he stepped up and backpicked him. And then the moving screen, and now the technical foul. So the Pacers now are starting to come unglued.
And Ron Harper alerted Steve Javie, the official. He told him, hey, watch Dale Davis. Watch Dale Davis. In the last 2 plays, he's picked up 2 offensive fouls.
Dale Davis perhaps a bit overzealous in heeding Larry Bird's plea for somebody to lay a body on someone. Here's Ahmad.
All right, Bob, just before Dale Davis's first foul, the referee, Bob Delaney, warned him and told him to cut it out. Told him a couple of times to cut it out, and I think that led to the next foul and the technical. Bob?
Thanks, Ahmad. After Michael hits the tee, Bulls put it in play. Harper, off balance, wild shot, nowhere near. Smits. Mullen trying to follow. Harper shoves it back in his face. Here's a 3-on-1 break.
Kukoc loves to make these type of passes. You see him catch it quickly behind his back, catch Jackson turning, and look out, here he comes. 23 in white, MJ is in the house.
What are you talking about? He owns the house. Kukoc on Jackson, who delivers it to Miller. Reggie to the bucket. The numbers are reversed there in a most unappealing way for the Pacers. 74-47, now 76.
Now Michael Jordan was calling for that ball the whole way up the court, and he was a little disappointed that Ron Harper didn't keep going because he knew he had a mismatch with Davis in the corner, and he back cut him.
Rodman may have fouled Jackson, and he did.
Now you watch Jordan running really hard, and he said, "Come on, Ron, don't stop on me now." So he takes Davis out to the corner. "I'm going to lull you to sleep, or I'm not thinking about doing anything." As the ball goes in the post, boop, I'm gone. Bam, there it is again.
You know, it appears that the Bulls are really making a conscious effort to really run tonight against the Pacers so they can't get their half-court defense set. That's really been a key for them tonight, is how often they have got fast break opportunities, and if not that, early offense.
You know, Doug, for Chicago, with their triple post triangle offense, it's important for them to run and move and make crisp cuts, because when we played them in Detroit, the thing we always wanted to do was put a body on them and to stop them from making speed cuts. But tonight they've been allowed to make those speed cuts, and therefore they've been able to get to the basket and make layups.
After Longley's third foul, Smits hits the first free throw. Saturday, an NBC theatrical event starring Michael Keaton and Gina Davis for the first time on network television, Speechless, at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, Saturday on NBC. Pacer fans perhaps rendered speechless by this score, 76-49.
Put a little X on the floor on that same spot. That's where he started the game, and it's like, I want to get to that spot tonight, because when I get there, I can do whatever I want to do.
Look, he's too strong down low. You see he's getting so deep in there that when he turns around, that's just a 3-foot bank shot for him.
And he has 24. Antonio Davis was fouled as the crowd begins another sarcastic chant of "Reggie, Reggie," mocking what they do at Market Square.
See, he comes from the opposite side of the floor so he can get his post position, and Reggie gives it up, and now he's in trouble. The little spinning jump shot off the glass. No resistance for Michael Jordan tonight.
Miller now goes out. He hasn't appeared to be limping as much tonight as he was toward the end of Game 3 and throughout Game 4. Fred Hoiberg replaces him, and Davis makes one of two.
See, with Reggie's injury right now, you really don't want to take any chances. You don't want him to re-injure it. He's kind of getting over it, so you don't want him to turn or ankle or anything right now, because you know you got a Game 6 coming up.
Kukoc. Chicago by 30. Antonio Davis misses the turnaround. Smits gives it back to him. Against 3 defenders, he muscles it up, and there's a foul. As we head for a commercial, let's take another look at Kukoc and Michael on the break. Harper gets it out. Tony knows what to do with it. Jackson's in the wrong place, and Michael slams it down on him. Worth another look. In fact, it's worth 3 looks. It's Chicago by 30, and you're watching the NBA on NBC.
How are you, Truman?
Vital signs are good.
Lights. Cue the sign. Camera.
Yeah! Hey, Truman! Sorry, can't stop!
Truman.
Say something.
You're on television. You're live to the whole world.
That's amazing.
Jim Carrey is Truman Burbank.
Want to do it again?
In what Esquire magazine calls the movie of the decade.
It's the miracle!
The Truman Show, rated PG. June 5th, everywhere.
It's late, it's wet, and a flat tire puts you up against the wall. Wouldn't it be great if you could just drive to safety? Now you can with new Goodyear Aqua Steel Run Flat. Even with no air pressure, you can drive up to 50 miles at 55 miles per hour to safety. Aqua Steel Run Flat. Only from Goodyear.
Something big is happening at Ford. It's the Ford Big Time Sales Event. Get the biggest savings of the year on Ford cars and trucks. Like up to $2,500 in total savings on Windstar for all Ford, GM, and Chrysler owners. Plus, Ford and GM owners can save big time on almost every Ford car and truck in stock. The world's biggest selling division wants your business big time. So save big at the Ford Big.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Miller Lite, who reminds you that whenever you feel good, it's Miller time. By Ford F-Series, the best-selling trucks are built Ford tough. And by Reebok, creating possibilities one athlete at a time.
Two minutes and 33 seconds remaining in the third quarter, and a 25-point halftime lead has grown to 30.
Well, you can see the big three of the Chicago Bulls. The big three scorers are dominating tonight. 26 more than their counterparts from Indiana, Miller, Mullen, and Smith. And the Bulls have dominated from the opening tip-off. They have not looked back. You see the look on Reggie Miller's face, and they have to hope that going to be going home to Market Square Arena is going to rejuvenate them, because right now the Chicago Bulls are doing whatever they want to do on the floor.
Antonio Davis hits 2 free throws. Longley out to Harper. Hoiberg trying to guard Michael. And the Bulls lose it. Rodman, as we told you, arrived just more than an hour prior to the game, but from his perspective, he was on time and everybody else was early. Smits. And he's coming to the free throw line.
See, I think it's important for them to keep Rick Smits involved, because he has such a nice rhythm coming into this game. And for big guys, it's tough for them to get their rhythm. And once they get it, you got to keep going to them so they can keep it.
The foul trouble for Longley is of little concern considering the score.
Now, we talked about Smith earlier, and you see he starts slow in series. He started slow in the Knicks series, and then he picked it up in games 4 and 5. And you see he started slow in this series, and he was starting to pick it up. So now that he's got his rhythm, it's important that you keep going to him, even in a loss and in a blowout right now. And Larry Bird understands that.
Smits finally breaks into double figures with 10. Pippen is back in the lineup. Jordan remains in the lineup with a 26-point lead. Kukoc has room and has the hoop.
Again, I think Phil Jackson is going to finish this quarter out strong. The last 2 minutes, try to push this thing up over 30 points. And tell Michael, put your warm-up on. I don't want to see you anymore out here tonight.
Smith has it poked away from behind by Michael. Kukoc is in the middle of a 3-on-2. And the Pacers break it up. Remember, when we talk about rest, if this thing should go the full 7, they will have played every other day for a week, beginning with Game 3 this past Saturday. Kukoc. The rebound to Smits. McKee. And Smits finally getting some points in this third quarter, but much too late.
That's some of the offense, Bob, that we saw in Market Square, where there would be penetration and Smits would slide out on that baseline, so when the big man helped, they could find him and he could make that little open jump shot.
Scotty flips it out to Kukoc. Rodman to Michael, an open 3, and he has 27.
See, that's the beauty of the triangle. Once they get you down, then their tempo controls the game. They spread you out on the floor. They keep the spacing. You make mistakes because you're overexerting yourself defensively, and they start picking you apart.
now they take it away again. Here's Michael to Kukoc, and the lead is 31.
Indiana is saying, what in the world has hit us tonight? 87-56.
And they come to their feet at the United Center in complete appreciation of the performance put on by the Bulls tonight. Pippen swats it right back at Jackson's face. Michael from half court. The way things have gone tonight, it wouldn't have been that surprising had he made it. The whole series and the whole season series between these teams has been so close. And then from out of nowhere, it's the Bulls by 31. Back after these words from your local station. This is the NBA on NBC.
Let me tell you a little love story. Happened at this wedding. Groom's buddies all sneak out and do the usual number on the groom's car, right? There it was, the most perfect black Ford Mustang known to man. So right when Mr. Shaving Cream's about to pull the trigger...
I can't do it, man. What? Just can't do it.
I mean, it's a Mustang. It'd be like they're facing a national monument or something. Ford Mustang, built to last.
Happy birthday.
Oh, good. Another apple. Where's Danny?
Oh, you get down by the way I use my walk. Come on, walk with me. No time to talk. Staying alive, staying alive. Staying alive.
Thank you.
Does everyone like basketball? Everybody understand?
You want to do something to help your community?
We want to do some fundamental work?
You just got to get off the bench
And we're going to do some drills.
and volunteer.
Come on, good job.
Anyone can get involved. It's worth it.
Hey, the most important thing today is we're going to have fun.
Team up to improve your community.
Catch Jay with Ellen DeGeneres and Dennis Rodman, NBC tonight.
Coming up tonight on 9 News at 10.
One thing that coaching teaches you is that you have to trust your gut instincts. And my gut instinct right now is that the time is right for a change.
The man who helped take the Avalanche to the top steps down.
It's best for me to move on.
Also, they won millions playing Powerball. Now they're ready to start their spending spree.
I'm going to get my teeth, new teeth, you know.
Watch 9 News tonight at 10.
I am the beer god. For many moons, I watch companies make different beers. Light, dark, red, pale ale, ice brewed, cold filtered, too many. So Beer God make one more beer. Honey Brown Lager. It only beer you need. You drink. The Beer God has spoken.
Jim Beneman. The pictures say it all.
The National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the NBA.
Scottie Pippen. Now, you're going to watch here. Mark Jackson's going to back the ball down. Scottie says, don't help me. I have him. Don't help me. You stay with your people. And Mark Jackson says, I'm going to back you down. Now, this is not Brevin Knight or Charlie Ward. This is Scottie Pippen. And Scottie says, Mark, not tonight. And that's sort of been the story. Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan have been magnificent.
And magnificent defensively, as you see throughout their careers. As the fourth quarter begins, Jordan is on the bench. To this point, he's played 32 of the 36 minutes.
The Bulls had more points at half than the Pacers have at the end of the third quarter. That's how dominant they have been tonight, 57-56.
And Pippen adds 2 more on the reverse. They lead by 33.
Pippen came off that cut wide open. Kerr missed him. But the passing of Kukoc and the eye signal that he and Pippen had, Kukoc picked it right up and threw it right down the hole to him.
Derek McKee with the little hook.
Isaiah, the question I have is, on the opening I said that Indiana had planted a seeded doubt in the minds of the Chicago Bulls with their 2 great wins. With that said, the Bulls have come out tonight and made a tremendous statement. What is we going to see from Indiana back at Market Square? Do they think just going home is going to cure this?
You know, Doug, in the series, when you walk in, the pressure was on the Chicago Bulls tonight to win Game 5. And when Indiana goes home, there's no pressure on the Bulls. The pressure will be on the Pacers. And right now, the way they're playing, they're not a confident basketball team. As Larry Bird worried about, and Jim Gray told us earlier, he worried that if the Pacers really believed that they could beat Chicago.
I'll tell you one thing. It'll be loud at the start of that game on Friday night at Market Square. Some of the best fans in the league, one of the loudest arenas in the league.
And they're undefeated at home in the playoffs. So, I mean, they have reason to believe that they can go home and get this ship righted, maybe get Jalen Rose back, and that he will help their bench.
You're going to need it to be a little bit more than loud. You're going to have to figure out a way to score, to put the ball in the hole against this tough Chicago defense.
Pippen's troubles at the foul line continue. He makes just 1 of 2. McKee shoots over Scotty and doesn't get the roll. Smith's out to Miller, and Burrell fouled him.
You know, Bob, we also talked about, was it a trend? Was it a fact that the Bulls were so dominant at home in games 1 and 2, and then in games 3 and 4, it was Reggie Miller and the Pacers that dictated the game and won both by 2 points. Now we see that the home court once again dominant by Chicago. Will this be one of those series that comes down to 7 games with the home court being the difference?
But you know what, Doug? It was a different kind of dominance. You know, in game 1 and 2, Indiana actually had a chance to win those games. In 3 and 4, Chicago had a chance to win the games in Indiana. But when you look at tonight's game, I mean, Chicago has totally come out and humiliated and embarrassed Indiana. I mean, this has been no contest.
Reggie got poked in the eye. They called a 20 to give him a chance to gather himself, and Michael continues to watch from the Bulls bench.
I think as he goes up for the shot right here, you see Scott Burrell comes up over the top and gets him. But right before he went over the top, his hand grazed Reggie Miller right in the eye.
And you can see a little bit of redness in that area. Miller has 13 points tonight. And it's an even 30 again. A whistle. And an Indiana foul.
You know, you may ask, why does Indiana still have some of its starters out on the floor? I remember Chuck Daly, when we were losing to Boston, he would keep the starters out on the floor just so we can feel the pain and feel how bad it was to get out there and get embarrassed and lose.
Foul was on Antonio Davis. Kukoc switches to the right hand and flips it home.
Now, Isaiah, you said at halftime he was a beautiful man. You feel that way even though he put that paint on you and made you stay out on the floor in these kind of games?
Well, it made us grow up. It made us learn. You know, it made us mature into champions.
Antonio Davis stuffed it, and Pippen arrived late and fouled him. How many times did you have to endure it before you got the message?
Well, we had to endure that type of pain that Larry Bird and the Celtics was putting on us for years. And what Indiana has yet to figure out is, you know, they've been to the Eastern Conference Finals a couple of times, and when you look at Bird's mentality and what he's all about as a champion, he's concerned that these guys haven't learned. They can't figure out how to stay away from that pain, so he's making them go through it now again.
Three-point play for Antonio Davis after the 5th foul on Pippen. 10 minutes remaining. And it's through Scotty's hands and out of bounds. Back to Chicago after this.
Do or Die Game 6, Friday night at 9 Eastern on NBC.
Got your Bud Light, you can't hit my friend. Let's go. I'm thirsty.
taste that won't fill you up and never let you down.
Looks like you're buying.
Make it a Bud Light.
Coach is calling for the Heat.
Baby, baby, it looks like it's gonna hail. Baby, baby, it looks like it's gonna hail. You better come inside, let me teach you how to jive and wheel. Oh, you gotta jump and jive and then you really gotta jump and jive and then you really gotta jump and jive and then you will.
You sign a lot of autographs?
Oh, yeah, you?
Some. They asked me to bend stuff a lot.
I can see that. What?
It's Lois. She's in trouble.
Did you look through that building?
Well, kind of. It's glass. Lois!
Superman, I've forgotten my wallet.
I can't carry money in this. I'm powerless.
I'm not.
My hero.
You can do more with the American Express card. Could you? For my kid.
Introducing the most luxuriously appointed Acura ever made, the RL Special Edition. With distinctive features like heated, leather-trimmed seats, a 6-disc CD changer, diamond-cut alloy wheels, and accented body panels. However, by design, it is available only for a limited time. The RL Special Edition from Acura, the true definition of luxury, yours.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. By Acura, the true definition of luxury, yours. And by Pizza Hut, home with a new Sicilian pizza. Can you handle it?
Scotty and Michael both out of the game with Chicago in front by 29. Steve Kerr is on Travis Best as the backup point guard brings it to the front court. Antonio Davis looking to work on Bill Wennington, and Wennington fouled him. The Utah Jazz at home in Salt Lake. Watching tonight's game, what, if anything, guys, can they get out of this?
Remember now, Utah was down 2-0 last year in the finals, and Chicago went to Utah. Utah won 2 games. It was a 2-2 series, and Chicago found a way to win Game 3. Michael had the big three-point shot to help win that game. He wasn't feeling well. They were able to find a way to win the game. They came home and put it away on Steve Kerr's jump shot. So, on Game 5. They came back and won it on Game 6. So they have been here exactly where the Pacers are, and they were on their home floor. And I think my biggest thing is, regardless of who Utah plays, they've worked all season long for that home court. That first game is going to be tough to win because they've been resting so long.
Doug, if I'm watching this game and I'm Utah and I'm thinking that Chicago is going to win this series, I'm wondering, how do I match up with Tony Kukoc, Michael Jordan, and Scottie Pippen in the backcourt because Phil Jackson has made that adjustment?
A big assumption still to say that the Bulls will get there, because outside of this game, the Pacers have been competitive with them all year long, and they do have Game 6 at home. Wennington turns and misses. And there's a foul. A moment ago, Fred Hoiberg got his first basket on the breakaway dunk, and Michael is coming back in with 9:01 on the clock here in the fourth.
I'm a little surprised at that move, because the one thing you do is you set yourself up in a 25-point game here. If, God forbid, you twist an ankle or something in a game like this. So, Phil's rolling little dice here that, Michael doesn't tweak an ankle or something, which could be a factor in Game 6.
Yeah, but I think what Phil Jackson is thinking right here, Doug, is that we really want to knock the confidence out of the Pacers. We don't want to go to 7 games. So as much doubt as we can put in the Pacers' mind, right now we're going to try to do that.
And also, he is 2 points from 35,000. So let's see if Michael gets 2 if Phil takes him back out of the game.
Kerr to Michael against McKee. Juggled it, recovered it. Now it's Kerr for the 3. And Antonio Davis for the rebound. Whether this goes 6 or 7, the finals open a week from tonight. Dale Davis, a sub 50% free throw shooter, stays true to form.
One of the guys who's really struggled tonight has been Travis Best. He was so brilliant in games 3 and 4. Big plays in both games. Remember that drive that put the game within 1 before Reggie's heroics. Tonight he is 0 for 5 with no assists in 14 minutes.
Michael starts his move, spins into a crowd, and gets fouled. He has not missed a game, talking about the possibility of an injury here. He has not missed a game since his return from baseball in 1995.
You know, that's what makes Michael Jordan so great. The thing that knocked Larry Bird out in Boston was injuries. You know, an illness knocked Magic Johnson out. An injury knocked me out of the game. But Michael Jordan has been able to sustain his health and also sustain his mental concentration. And therefore, the Chicago Bulls are virtually almost unbeatable throughout this run.
Rodman leaves. Wennington pops a jumper, gets his own rebound, and thunders to the hoop.
Well, Isaiah, also, you know, it takes some luck to stay away from injury. Michael had the freak injury where he broke the foot. But I will tell you this guy is the most relentless worker to keep his strength and conditioning up. He, Scotty, and Ron Harper work consistently so that they can help stay away from injury. So, yes, you have to be a little lucky, but he has put the work in.
The Derek McKee basket makes it a 24-point Chicago lead. Here is Michael. Throwing one up on the run, and it's another thing of beauty. 35,000 career points, regular and postseason combined. 35,000 exactly. 29 of them tonight. And there's a foul against Chicago. Another couple of looks at Michael's last 2 points. 6:54 to play in the game. Chicago by 26.
Now you watch this Jordan to square McKee up, and he break him down and takes him left and then cuts him off. Flips it high off the glass. And you're watching the NBA on NBC.
And how you going to stop that?
You can only survive on what you find in the forest. We'll meet in 5 days here. And good luck.
The Honda CR-V has its own picnic table, waterproof storage compartment, and 2 power outlets. For those times when you have to rough it.
I love nature.
Unleash the beast. Unleash the beast. Unleash the beast, Milwaukee's best.
It's a fast-paced world for small business today. To stay on top, you need to react to change with lightning speed. That's why we're introducing Kinko's Express, the new 24-hour self-service area that lets you get things done fast. Kinko's Express, the new way to office.
The Michelin X1. Thanks to Michelin technology, it gives you long mileage and better wet braking than any rain tire. And that should make everyone on a wet road happy.
I'm looking for Pine Street.
Go down to the fork in the road. Right, but make sure you take the left fork. Right. Then you see a big brown dog. Keep straight. 2 blocks down the street, you see a man named Slappy selling maps. Well, don't buy one. You already got one. Right. Hang a right at Slappy. That's a left, right? A right. Left. Right. Okay. Right. Keep straight. Watch out for the goat. Then you see a big McDonald's and... Right. Did somebody say McDonald's? Aren't you glad we brought you here?
I'm glad.
now another Just Shoot Me moment.
Nina, I know this magazine like the back of my hand. I am perfectly capable of making it to the men's room on my own.
Just Shoot Me, Thursdays on NBC.
Ahmad Rashad back here at the United Center in Chicago with the Bulls up by 36. Now, we've been having a conversation about Michael Jordan still being in the game with this big of a lead, but I believe that the reason of him being in the game is to keep the continuity, because they have sort of whimpered away at the end of the games. And to win a game like this, they still want to win it running away rather than having everything fall apart. Now, there may be one other reason, too, because, and I don't want to get on this a little bit too much, but if this is, in fact, his last year, he certainly doesn't want to spend any time on the bench. Now, I just want to throw that out there for you guys, and then we'll leave it alone. All right, Bob?
Well, Ahmad might be in a position to know more than the rest of us. Jordan to Wennington. He's always had that kind of range if you give him a little bit of room. On Travis Best. Clock winding down towards 6 minutes to play in the fourth. Hoiberg had to arc it high and missed it. Michael skies for the rebound, and you hold your breath if you're Chicago when he goes down on a play like that. With a 27-point lead.
Yeah, and I think that Phil Jackson was holding his breath. Scott Burrell's coming in. Let's see if he gets Michael out of the game.
If so, Michael's looking for a last touch here. Working hard without the ball. Wennington, though, will shoot it. Mullen takes it away from Simpkins. Jordan has 29, Pippen 20, and Kukoc 19. Miller leads Indiana's feeble attack tonight with 14. Turnover, and Simpkins has it.
Now, Davis and Jordan got tied up under the basket right there. Jordan was chasing Mullen hard. Davis laid his pick on him, and they got tangled up, and Jordan threw Davis off.
See if Michael gets one more shot up. If he looks over and sees Scott Burrell and says, look, if it comes to me, I'm going to let it go.
He's calling for it, but Simpkins wants a shot of his own. And he gets the basket, which the crowd reacts to. It's his first hoop. Reggie Miller might be done for the night. No use putting that sprained ankle to a further test in this situation. Offensive foul on the Pacers.
See, that's the result of the tangle-up that he and Jordan had underneath.
That's it for Antonio Davis with fouls, and it's it for Michael Jordan as well with 4:48 remaining. And he retires for the evening with 29 points and his team in front by 28.
Now, Bob, I don't think the 29 is a huge number, but what I thought he did in that first quarter was establish what the Bulls were going to do. He got in that post early, got them confident. Scottie Pippen was excellent, and it really filtered on to the rest of his team.
Judd Bushler getting some playing time now. Here's Judd with the ball. Simpkins. Oh, he thinks he's a scorer now. Right to the hoop goes Lubara Dickie Simpkins. And he draws the foul. We'll hop on the interstate. What do you say we drive it? Let's not fly. A little more than a 3-hour drive. You up for that tomorrow?
In the Cracker Barrel.
We're there. Yeah, the restaurant gets a free plug now. They'll pick up your tab for sure this time. We'll be en route to Indianapolis sometime tomorrow and back with you Friday night at 9 Eastern, 8 Central for Game 6 from Market Square. The Big Three can sit back and enjoy the last 4.5 minutes.
Bob, if I'm not mistaken, it's either 5 or 6 offensive fouls the Pacers have tonight, moving on screens.
Boy, is that Travis Best quick, though. He sliced through there in a hurry.
Well, that's the problems that he posed to the Chicago Bulls in 3 and 4. Now, in games 3 and 4 tonight, we have not seen that. They have really had a good handle on him. Now, remember, when he first came into the game, Randy Brown had the primary task of guarding him early. Now we see Steve Kerr with him.
You know what's impressive to me about Chicago's second unit that's on the floor right now? that this is garbage time, this is rat time, but they're still disciplined enough to execute their offense. And Doug, you know from being a coach that a lot of times at this point in the game, guys that come down and get out of their patterns and everything else. But let's watch Chicago and see how they continue to execute and space the floor.
Whistler, his first shot. Got a good look, but missed it. Best pulls up, and Simpkins rebounds the miss. Scott Burrell in for Michael. And there's a foul on the play.
It's on Winnington. He set the moving pick. That time he caught the ball, and as he tried to pivot, he knocked off Fred Hoiberg.
Hope Lou Carnesecca is watching the game. 3 of his St. John's boys involved. Mark Jackson, Chris Mullen, and Bill Wennington on that team, along with Walter Berry that went to the Final Four in the mid-'80s.
And Bill Wennington almost signed with the Pacers in the offseason as we see Fred Hoiberg with the dunk, but Wennington was very close to going to the Pacers. They were going to give him a 2-year contract. The Bulls gave him 1. He decided to come back for another championship run, but he was going to be reunited once again with Chris Mullen and Mark Jackson.
Simpkins lost the dribble, but it bounces to Wennington, who cans the jumper. He's got 8 off the Chicago bench. Hoiberg off to Best. Gets it back and hits the side of the backboard with an awful shot. Best connects on a 3. Chicago by 25, which was their lead at the half. Simpkins. And at 5'11", Best has the rebound. Takes off to the other end, and there's contact and a foul on Chicago. With 2:25 left. Back to Chicago after this.
It's an Acura 24-valve V6, like the Acura NSX. It's the power sequential multi-port fuel injection, like the NSX. It's 4-wheel independent double wishbone suspension, like the NSX. It's comfortable seating for 5, like 2.5 NSXs. It's the TL from Acura, the true definition of luxury. Yours.
There's a medical emergency, but no hospital. What do you do? Build one. Leadership. Learn it now in the Army Reserve. Use it now in your career.
Who you looking for? Mr. Goldstein. That's me, baby. I'm Mr. Goldstein.
When Black and Blue scammed a truckload of cell phones, they hooked up the entire neighborhood.
Sure is hard being a businessman.
But now, the mob and the feds want to put them out of business permanently.
We got to disappear.
Master P, A.J. Johnson, Ice Cube, Snoop Doggy Dogg. I got the hookup.
I beat up with a black shirt, no boxing draws.
Say what? Rated R. Now playing at a theater near you.
Red Dog rules for living. Number 18. Sheep travel in flocks. Cattle travel in herds. The dogs travel in packs.
Send your packages in 2 days with FedEx to lots of different places. You get lots of different prices.
Send your packages in 2 days with UPS to lots of different places. You get lots of different prices.
Send your packages in 2 to 3 days with Priority Mail to lots of different places. You get the same price. You know, $3.
So, what's your priority? Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
Lisa Leslie, Dawn Staley, and college star Shamiqua Holtzclaw lead Team USA at the Women's World Championship of Basketball, June 6th and 7th on NBC.
Former world #1 Marcelo Rios, Martina Hingis, Venus Williams, Michael Chang, and more. The French Open this weekend on NBC.
Welcome back to Chicago. I'm Jim Gray. Well, you might be wondering how the Utah Jazz are preparing for the finals. Well, talked to Jerry Sloan after they beat the Lakers, and he told me he was just going to send a local scout, Bob Sullivan, here to the game tonight and to scout these two teams. Said he wasn't going to send any of his staff because he really didn't want to waste any of the money. Said he really hadn't been watching much of this series because he was busy with his. Said he didn't know how much he would watch after they won. He said, we'll know what we need to know when we need to know, because when we finally find out who we play, then we'll have all the information we need. Bob?
Boy, that's Jerry Sloan for you. None of this high-tech stuff. None of these extra tapes and computer printouts. Hey, we'll know what we need to know. They did in the regular season against Chicago. They beat them both times they played them. They split 2 with the Pacers. Bench getting a chance to play. Buechler can't get his first field goal. Hoiberg, a 3. Simpkins has the rebound. They have Randy Brown, Judd Buechler, Dickie Simpkins, Scott Burrell, and Bill Wennington on the floor. Simpkins, 5 seconds to shoot. Wennington tried to and was fouled by Mark West, who's making his first appearance of the series. He's the only present Pacer who has ever been to the NBA Finals. He was Phoenix's center, at least one of them, in '93 when they played the Bulls in the championship round.
I coached Mark West for a year in Detroit. He was one of my favorite players. He's the ultimate pro. He was great with young guys. He came to work every day. And unfortunately for us, we played the Orlando Magic in the first round of the playoffs that year, and he had to go against Shaquille O'Neal. But this guy is the ultimate professional. I have the great respect for him.
Now in his 15th year out of Old Dominion.
Not only is he a professional, but he's also very intelligent. In the summer, he's a broker.
That would be a stockbroker?
Yes.
Yeah. Because there's lots of things you could broker.
That is true, Bob.
West. Hey, how about that? Chance for a three-point play.
A stockbroker and a hook shot artist, too. But a poor free throw shooter. This is one guy you don't want at the free throw line in crunch time.
You know, most stockbrokers that I've encountered in games at the YMCA are very poor free throw shooters. And West misses that one. The final score is going to look a bit more respectable for Indiana. Although not if the Bulls keep doing that. Burrell makes it 106-83.
I would love to be in the Pacers locker room when Larry Bird talked to his team tonight. I would just love to hear what he had to say to get them prepared. Now they've got to beat the Bulls 2 times in a row to knock them out. And the next game they face is an elimination game because now it's pressure time. They know they cannot lose, Bob, so that puts more pressure on them as they play at home.
I think what he goes back in the locker room and he says to them, hey, let's just forget about this game. We know we're a much better team than this. Let's go back, get our rest, come out game 6, and fight for our life.
How would you like to be Larry Bird's dinner companion after this one?
See, I think these type of losses are easier for a coach and players to take when you lose by margins such as this, because you know you can play better and you know you're a much better team. I think those 4 or 5 point losses, those are the difficult losses to take.
And you don't know whether Reggie's just hit the game-winning shot or they're losing by 22 points. Again, it's the consistency that we talked about. Larry Bird, this is the same way he approaches every game. No matter what the magnitude is, that's the same look that you get.
Hoiberg hits the free throws. Less than a minute to play. Dickie Simpkins has it rejected by Dale Davis. Hoiberg runs into Kerr. The officials don't blow a whistle as we play out the last few seconds. And now Burrell stuffs it back in Hoiberg's face.
But officials not going to blow the whistle at this point in time unless it's something that's pretty obvious and flagrant. They want this game to get over just like Indiana does.
Isaiah, one thing you learn as a player real quickly, at this stage of the game, you don't go to the basket because the referees want to get this game over too. So you'll look around and say, where's the foul? And they go, are you kidding me? Pull up and shoot the jump shot.
Well, Travis Best didn't, and he did get the whistle here, so he'll come to the free throw line. Bird flanked by his veteran assistant, Dick Harder, and the young assistant, Rick Carlisle. It's Carlisle who designs their offense, and Harder who puts their defense into effect.
I think one of the things they're going to have to talk about is Michael Jordan early in the post. If he does that in Indianapolis, what are they going to do? And the outside series that Chicago hurt them with Pippen tonight, roaring around that corner and getting the ball to the basket. Those were two specific things that they're going to have to talk about before they play on Friday night.
Yeah, on the defensive end, that's correct, Doug. And on the offensive end, I think they're going to have to figure out a way to get Smits involved earlier so he can establish his dominance in the post if he can, unlonely.
Indiana got it down under 20, which is small solace. Bushler just holding the ball. Now unleashing a three at the horn. Chicago wins it 106-87. Michael Jordan plays 36 minutes, shoots 12 of 20, scores 29 with 7 rebounds and 4 assists, and here he is with Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Bob. Michael, if the Pacers planted a seed of doubt by winning the last 2 games, it was certainly not evident tonight.
Well, they were playing without a key member, so we decided just to attack the people that they had, see who they're going to have to replace them. And you know, Reggie didn't seem to have the energy that he had in Indiana. I don't know if the ankle was bothering him or what, but we tried to keep pressure on him as much as possible.
You told me before the game that the playoffs are all about intensity and pressure, and you guys applied both of those tonight to the Pacers.
Yeah, you know, I was saying it earlier. We haven't been put in this position in a long time, and this is good for us, I think, to learn how to focus and to go out and do our jobs when we have to do it. And, you know, we like to go ahead and take care of business early, but, you know, we had problems early, and, you know, our backs are to the wall. We had to come back here and win a game, and now we got to go back to Indianapolis and win a game.
Tonight, it seemed like all of you guys were focused, and obviously the plan was just to attack the Pacers.
Well, it's very obvious that we were focused. I mean, you can see our all-around play. You know, everybody came out and contributed, and, you know, when we play our best basketball, that's when that's when everybody's contributing. And, you know, tonight was a good example of that.
All right, Michael, congratulations on a good game. We'll see you on Friday. All right, back to you, Bob.
Ahmad, thanks. We step aside for a moment. When we return, we'll hear from Scottie Pippen.